but that means there is competition and there is also opportunity. Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about picking a niche for your collection. Now, you don't need to stay in this niche forever. This is a video just so you can focus on one niche as you are making your first collection. Now, I can't go through every single niche in service pattern design because we would be here forever, but I am going to go through some of the biggest ones and some that I think that you can get started in. But before we get started, if you would hit that like button, it really does help with the algorithm and it helps this video get out to more people. Okay, now that you've hit that like button, we are going to get started on the first niche, which is apparel. Now, the clothing industry is a $1.9 trillion industry, and there is new brands popping up almost every day. So it is an industry that is large, but that means there is competition and there is also opportunity. Two things that I personally love. In this industry, there are brands that just go off of what places like Alibaba or other wholesale consignments are looking for. But there are clothing companies and clothing brands that look for independent artists, freelancers like you, that have a collection that'll work with their idea of what they want their new arrivals to look like. Brands like Angel Deer have submissions, and it is super important to read and understand the details. Art directors are insanely busy, and they are not going to take the time to look at your art and get back to you if you didn't even submit it correctly. If they need your information or they need certain types of patterns, maybe they need it in a certain format like you did PDF and they need Adobe Acrobat or something. Reading the description and reading exactly what each individual company wants as a submission is very important. If you don't submit correctly, they're not even going to really bother with looking at your thing, because that shows that you don't have an attention to detail, and that's not a good thing that they probably want to work with. Now, this is one of the biggest niches for service pattern designers. Just like I said in my first video, homeware, home decor has a lot of subcategories. So if you are interested in homeware, I would suggest getting maybe 2 or 3 parts of the subcategory to really focus in on those so you can prevent overwhelm before it even happens. Places like Anthropologie, Crate and Barrel, Pottery Barn can all be places that your designs are in. As with most of these niches, there is an industry norm. And since home decor is such a large industry, there are some that require you to have an agent or they won't even really bother talking to you. And then there's others that prefer to have maybe just a digital version of your portfolio, maybe just a physical version of your portfolio. And then there's others that I've personally dealt with that like both. Like I said, art directors are very busy, so their emails are constantly full. A way for you to stand out is to send a physical version of your portfolio and also pay attention, get tracking with that, and whenever it gets delivered, email them and say, hey, I know that my portfolio just got delivered. If you have any questions or feedback, I'd love to hear from you. This is a very professional way to keep you front of mind for them. You're literally going to be in their office even when physically you are not. Your portfolio is a version of you just literally sitting in their office. Now, I will go into more detail later in this series whenever we're talking about finishing your portfolio and getting it ready for art directors, but I did want to add this one part in for this video just so you have an idea of what to expect whenever delivering to art directors. Another industry you can look into is tech, so things like your phone case, your skins, even little pop sockets can all have your art on them. Places like Casetify and Skinit all have submissions that you can apply for. I will say though, at least with the case of Casetify, they do like to collaborate with people with a certain number of followers, so that may not be the first brand that you can work with whenever you're very first starting and you don't have a following, but it is a good niche to keep in mind. I'm sure you've heard of Hallmark, Minted, American Greetings, Art Press, Pear Tree, and even Papyrus. If you haven't, these are all brands that are in the stationery and book industry. They are also brands that accept submissions. For example, Minted is part of Target, and they constantly have little campaigns and submissions that you can apply for. Now, the thing with submissions is it's pretty much just a constant thing. It is not like having a collection, a whole body of work, and being able to send it to an art director. Places like Minted that do competitions, you are submitting one design against every other artist who is submitting a design, and then people who are part of the Minted community are going to vote on that. I personally sometimes submit to Minted. It's nice if you happen to have artwork that works for whatever competition they are doing. It's very easy to submit. I'm not saying you should go out of your way for every single competition, but if you happen to have product already or a pattern already done and it works for the competition they have, submitting it, seeing what happens could be really beneficial. Now, I'm going to put these two niches together because your collection can actually work really well with both of them. Fabric and wallpaper have certain industry norms that are very similar to each other. For a fabric and wallpaper collection, it's a very good idea to have 12 cohesive designs, having your hero pattern, your secondary patterns, and your blender/filler patterns. Now, wallpaper is a little bit more lax on this kind of collection, but fabric, it is an industry norm to have all three types of patterns. Wallpaper, it is more important to have a complete collection that looks good, that you don't have patterns or designs competing against each other. Just like with home decor, these industries are very large, so sending a physical portfolio as well as sending over an email once you know that package has been delivered can really keep you front of mind with art directors. Hopefully this video helped and gave you some ideas of a niche that you may want to put your collection in. Like I said, this video is part of a series that I'm doing for surface pattern designers. So if you are interested in learning more about surface pattern design, I would suggest subscribing to this channel so you don't miss any more videos.